Hello, welcome back to Snugglewood, young Dreamlynx. My name is Arin. Snuggle down into your coziest quilt and let tonight's calming tale and soothing sounds relieve you of any worries and guide you towards a deep, restful night's sleep under these beautiful stars above. And so our story begins in a place called Hearthstone Hamlet and the sleepy giant tale of Songbird Hall. The cobblestone paths of Hearthstone Hamlet spread out before you, their surfaces smoothed by seasons of quiet passage underfoot. Lanterns suspended from wrought iron hooks cast pools of lantern gold light that play across the stone fronts of cottages, clustered together in comfortable rows. The scent of baked bread and blooming night flowers drifts on the air, mixing with the cool freshness from the nearby woods. Evergreens stand tall around the valley edges, and in the far ridges one senses the mythical sleepy giant whose form blends with the hills, keeping watch over all who seek rest in Snugglewood. You make your way along a winding lane towards Songbird Hall, the theatre known throughout the hamlet for its special evenings of song and story. The path is bordered by low hedges, heavy with dew-kissed leaves, and your footsteps sound soft on the gravel sections, mixed with mossy patches. As you draw nearer, the hall reveals its form. A grand building crafted from ancient timber and stone, its walls rising in graceful curves that follow the natural slope of the land. Vines trail along the beams, their leaves catching the evening glow and adding layers of deep green to the structure. Carvings adorn every visible surface, scenes of listeners gathered in circles, of wings spread wide, of melodies made visible in swirling patterns that invite the eye to linger and the mind to settle. You pause at the wide stone steps leading to the main entrance, noting how the wood of the double doors has been polished by countless hands over time, its surface warm and smooth beneath your touch. A low wooden bench sits to one side, carved with motifs of twisting branches, and you rest there for a moment, letting the evening air brush across your skin. From within the hall comes the first hint of sound, a distant note so clear it feels like it has been waiting just for your arrival. The doors stand open in welcome, framed by lanterns whose flames move in slow, steady rhythms, casting patterns of light and shade across the threshold. Stepping inside the foyer, you find yourself surrounded by the hall's embrace of warmth and texture. The floor here is laid with wide planks of oak, each one fitted so precisely that no gap appears between them. And your shoes meet the wood with a quiet press that echoes softly back. Walls panelled in the same rich timber rise high, lined with shelves that hold small keepsakes from past performances. Feathers preserved in glass cases, scrolls tied with ribbon, fragments of melody captured in delicate carvings. A central table holds a bowl of fresh water, scented with herbs, and beside it rests a stack of soft cloths for any who wish to refresh their hands or face before proceeding deeper. The air carries a trace of wax from the candles and the faint sweetness of dried petals scattered across the surface. You wander slowly through this entry space, taking in the alcoves set into the walls, where smaller benches offer places to sit and absorb the atmosphere before the main event. In one alcove, a narrow window looks out onto a private garden, its flowers nodding in the breeze, their petals releasing subtle fragrance that drifts inward. Another alcove holds a tall mirror framed in carved leaves, reflecting your form back in the soft illumination, so that you see yourself as part of this place, belonging here without question. The overall mood invites you to move at your own pace. No rush, no demand. Only the steady invitation to explore and let each detail sink into your awareness. From the foyer, a wide corridor leads onward, its ceiling arched and painted with a night sky motif in blues and golds. You follow this passage, noting the way the floor slopes ever so slightly downward, guiding you naturally toward the heart of the hall. Along the walls hang tapestries woven with scenes of the hamlet at different times of the year, each one so detailed that you can almost hear the sounds depicted within them. The rustle of leaves in autumn, the quiet drip of rain in spring. Your fingers trail along the fabric as you pass, feeling the raised threads that tell their own stories through touch alone. The corridor opens into the main auditorium, and the scale of the space unfolds around you. Rows of seats curve in a wide arc, crafted from the same warm wood as the rest of the hall. Each one padded with cushions stuffed with freshly plucked cotton and covered in fabrics that yield comfortably under pressure. Spaces are left between sections to accommodate visitors of every size, including areas where the mythical sleepy giant's presence might be felt most keenly. Open stretches where larger forms could settle without crowding. Balconies rise on either side, their railings carved with the flowing designs that echo the vines outside. And from these higher vantage points, one can look down upon the entire gathering. You choose a seat in the middle rows, lowering yourself into the cushion that molds perfectly to your shape. The the wood at your back offering solid yet yielding support. At the front of the auditorium stands the stage, a raised platform of polished stone edged with moss that grows in soft patterns. At its centre rises a natural perch formed from a single ancient tree trunk, its bark left in place and polished only enough to show its age and strength. Branches extend outward like welcoming arms, and upon this structure the Songbird Hall will soon appear. The ceiling above the stage is open to the sky in a clever design of glass and timber, allowing stars to look down and the night air to circulate freely, carrying every note outward and upward. Lanterns ring the perimeter, their light tuned to a warm level that illuminates without overwhelming. You settle deeper into your seat, letting your shoulders ease downward as the last arrivals find their places around you. The audience includes villagers from the hamlet, travellers from farther valleys, and a few towering figures who move with a quiet dignity that speaks of the sleepy giant's own kin, their presence adding a layer of protective calm to the gathering. Conversations are low and unhurried, blending into a background of murmur that soothes rather than distracts. A subtle scent of pine and maple syrup drifts along the aisles, reminding you of forests and home in equal measure. Then the lights around the stage dim so slightly, and a hush falls across the auditorium. From a hidden opening high above the perch, the songbird emerges. The creature is larger than any ordinary bird you have ever seen, its body covered in feathers that catch the lantern light in shifting hues of deep indigo and warm amber. Its wings fold neatly against its sides as it lands upon the central branch, claws gripping the wood with practiced ease. The songbird's eyes are bright and knowing, reflecting a wisdom gathered from countless evenings spent sharing melodies with those who need them most. A small crown of feathery plumes tops its head, and its beak curves in a shape made for both song and story. The songbird settles, tilting its head as if listening to the collective breath of the room. Then it opens its beak, and the first notes spill forth, rich and full, filling the auditorium without effort. The melody begins slowly, each tone drawn out like a long exhale, painting pictures in your mind of quiet meadows at dawn, where dew clings to blades of grass, and the world feels newly born. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sound wash over you, carrying away the remnants of any earlier tension. The song tells without words of a day spent in simple pleasures, of hands working soil, of laughter shared over meals. And as the notes rise and fall, you feel your own body responding. Muscles loosening, breath deepening into a natural rhythm that matches the beautiful soft sounds. As the first song concludes, the songbird pauses, allowing silence to hold the space for several heartbeats. You open your eyes to see the audience sitting in shared contentment, some with eyes closed, others gazing upward at the stars visible through the ceiling. The songbird then launches into a second piece, this one lighter, yet still measured, evoking memories of childhood evenings when stories were told by firelight, and the world outside the door held no urgency. The notes weave images of winding rivers that carry leaves downstream, of forests where animals move in unhurried patterns, of homes where doors stand open in trust. Nostalgia blooms within you, warm and familiar, reminding you that comfort has always been close at hand and remains available now. You move slightly in your seat, the cushion adjusting to the movement, and notice how the acoustics of the hall carry every nuance of the songbird's voice to every corner. Even those in the farthest balconies receive the melody as clearly as if seated beside the perch. Side alcoves off the main floor offer smaller listening nooks for those who prefer solitude. Their entrances framed by curtains of woven reeds that sway softly. During a brief pause between songs, you rise quietly and walk to one of these alcoves, drawn by curiosity. Inside you find a single chair and a low table holding a glass of cool herbal infusion. The walls here are lined with more carvings, each depicting a different tale the songbird has shared in evenings past. You sip the drink, tasting notes of chamomile and mint, and return to your seat refreshed, ready for the next part of the performance. The songbird begins its third offering, a lullaby made from tones that descend gradually, like footsteps on a path leading home at twilight. The melody speaks of release, of settling down burdens that no longer serve, of allowing the body to sink into the support beneath it. You feel your eyelids grow heavier in the most natural way, your thoughts slowing to match the measured pace of the music. Positive sensations fill the spaces where worry once lingered. A sense of safety, of being exactly where you belong. of tomorrow's challenges meeting you with renewed strength, because tonight's rest is complete and untroubled. The songbird's voice layers in subtle harmonies, as though multiple voices join in quiet chorus, creating a blanket of sound that wraps the entire auditorium in comfort. A fourth and final piece unfolds, this one evoking the vast quiet of open fields under moonlight, where the mythical sleepy giant is said to walk in dreams, ensuring that all beneath his watch find the restoration they seek. The notes are deeper here, resonant, vibrating through the wooden floor and into the soles of your feet. You sink further into the cushion, aware of the solid earth beneath the hall, of the valley holding the hamlet, of the larger presence that oversees Snugglewood with patient care. The songbird's feathers ruffle once as it reaches the peak of the melody, then eases downward into a series of sustained tones that fade so gradually they seem to continue even after the beak closes. Silence returns, richer now for having been filled. The audience remains seated for several long moments, savouring the afterglow. You stay in your place, letting the experience settle within you, noticing how your breathing has lengthened, how your limbs feel heavy in the best possible sense, how your mind rests in a state of clear calm. Eventually the songbird dips its head in farewell and retreats through the opening above the perch, leaving the stage empty, yet still resonant with what has passed. You rise slowly, joining the others as they begin to file out through the corridors. The foyer feels even more welcoming on the return journey, the lanterns burning steadily, the air still carrying the scent of herbs and wax. You pause once more at the bench outside the main doors, looking back at Songbird Hall, now silhouetted against the night sky. Its form stands as a beacon of continuity, a place where melodies have soothed countless hearts and will continue to do so for all who find their way there. The paths back through the hamlet seem softer underfoot, the cottages glowing with their own quiet lights, the evergreens whispering overhead in the breeze. As you walk, the stars above appear brighter, their patterns familiar and reassuring. The sleepy giant's watchful form merges once more with the distant hills, a reminder that protection and peace are part of this very land of Snugglewood. You reach the edge of the hamlet, where your own resting place awaits. Body already preparing for the deep restoration that follows such an evening. The memory of the songbird's voice lingers in your ears, a melody that will return whenever needed, guiding you towards sleep that restores and renews. Songbird Hall remains behind you, its doors ready for the next gathering, its perch waiting for the next performance. The theatre stands as part of Hearthstone Hamlet, enduring rhythm, a space where stories and lullabies blend to create moments of pure ease. You carry the evening with you, each step lighter, each breath fuller, knowing that rest comes easily now and will carry you through the night ahead. The valley holds its breath in shared contentment, the creek nearby adding its own soft melody to the darkness. Cottages settle into their places along the lanes, windows dimming one by one as inhabitants find their bed. The air cools gradually, carrying the last traces of the day's warmth into the soil. You arrive at your threshold, the door opening without resistance, the interior inviting with its familiar comforts. Bed linens turned back, pillow plump, the room bathed in the same lantern gold that illuminated the hall. You prepare for sleep with deliberate care, each movement thoughtful and without rush, the song still echoing faintly within your thoughts, encouraging every part of you to release and receive. Outside, the hamlet returns to its nighttime quiet. Yet Songbird Hall continues its silent vigil, ready for whoever may wander its paths tomorrow or the day after. The songbird rests in its hidden roost, conserving strength for future evenings when its voice will once again bring comfort to the air. The sleepy giant keeps his timeless watch, ensuring that the balance of day and night, activity and rest remains steady across Snugglewood. You slip beneath the covers, body aligning with the mattress in perfect accord, mind drifting toward dreams that mirror the melodies you have heard. In this way, the evening closes, leaving only the knowledge that healing through sound is always available, that the theatre in Hearthstone Hamlet exists as a constant source of solace. The paths you walked remain open. The seats you occupied wait patiently. The perch stands prepared. Each detail of the tour lingers in your awareness like a cherished keepsake, ready to be visited whenever the need for calm arises. Sleep approaches now with the same natural ease the songbird's notes inspired, carrying you onward into the night's embrace.